welcome. This is episode 1 of the journey back to the Olympia. My name is Barbara, and I am an IFBB bikini pro from way back when. I competed when I was in my early 20s. I was the first ever bikini pro in Louisiana and actually worked my way to the Olympia stage in 2011. Bikini had just come out onto the scene, and it was just such an honor to be on that stage. So here I am 14 years later, back in the competing world. I took a long break. Once I had kind of reached that point of competing in the Olympia, I was just like, okay, I've reached the pinnacle. And at that time I had started my business, which is Clean Creations. We do healthy gourmet meals delivered all through New Orleans. And you know, I was just in a different mindset then. So flash forward to today, I'm 38 years old and I have 2 kids, married. Now I have 4 businesses that I run versus the one. But a year ago, a friend of mine who puts on a show every single year, the Louisiana State Championship, reached out to me because the Fit Model division had just come out and last year. And so when I saw it, I'm like, man, this really reminds me of how bikini started. I love this. I love this body type. This is always what I've strived for. I love that the division is doing this. And I made a comment on one of his posts. And so when he saw that comment, he's like, call me. So we talked for a bit and he was like, man, I really think you should do this. And never in my wildest dreams. Maybe I shouldn't say that, because there was always a little part of me that always felt like, man, if I could just get on that stage just one more time, you know, like just let me at it. There was always that little part of me that felt like, oh man, I would just love to do this again one more time. But you know, just being in the place that I'm in my life with kids and businesses and all this, I'm like, no way. So I kind of just let it go after we talked. And then maybe 2 months after that, he called me again and said, listen, like the show is 7 weeks away. I think you should do it. So of course I took a deep breath and I'm like, yes, I am gonna do this. It was truthfully one of the best decisions, one of the best yeses I've ever made, because it kind of set me down this path of really remembering why I competed in the first place, why I loved it so much in the first place. I just remember that show that I did, the Louisiana State Championship show. I was standing at the foot of the steps about to go on stage. And I remember looking up at the other girls on stage, and it was about to be my turn. I just remember like feeling so flooded with emotion of, this is what drives me, this is what excites me, this is my passion. And maybe even in my 20s when I competed, I didn't even realize it then, but I realized it at this point in my life, that something about bodybuilding and being on stage and working and striving for this goal lights me up in such a way that it's undeniable. And it's pure magic. There's no other way to describe it. And so I'm so glad I said yes to that. And I ended up winning that show. And then immediately I was like, I am back in the game, right? Because it's just like, oh, you know, just this excitement of it. So competed at the Louisiana State Championship show. Next show that I did was a Texas Natural show. Won that show, qualified me for nationals, competed at nationals this past November. So today is January 27th. So November 22nd of 2025, I competed at the national show in DC and didn't do well at that show. So placed 4th, I got first call outs in the overalls, but didn't place in the overalls. It was just a weird thing for me, just because I had expected to do much better than I did. So I left that show feeling really good, actually, because it felt like just like the beginning for me. I'm like, this is just the beginning. And I think it's really important for women, especially my age, at 37, 38, and even in your 40s, to really come back to what brings you so much joy and passion, what lights you up inside. And I think when you start having kids, it becomes about your kids' passions and their desires and their wants and needs. It's all about your children and raising your children. And, you know, my kids will always come first. And it's still important for them to see their mom strive and lean into the things that light her up inside. And so it was really important for me to I'm not backing down on this journey. So when I first started back into it, my goal and my dream was to revisit that Olympia stage just one more time. And I have this goal and vision in my mind of stepping on that stage again and competing as a pro fit model competitor. And this is my journey of how to get there, you guys. I thank you for, if you made it this far in the video. I'm inviting you on this roller coaster ride because it is, especially just with, my sole job is not to be a fitness competitor. I am, again, a business owner. I have a lot on my plate as it is. So just navigating through real life and also being an athlete and striving for that goal, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs probably through this. So just to catch you guys up on where I'm at, after I left that show in DC, I hired a coach. I've never had actually I did have a coach when I competed for the Olympia. I had a local coach, but I've never been with a team before. So Paul was at that show. He's with Team Pro Physiques, and I reached out to him because he was posting about the show, and I'm like, hey, I would love to hear your feedback. And he told me in an Instagram message, he was like, man, when I saw you come out on stage, he was like, this girl's gonna shut it down. She's gonna take it. And I think I just needed more development in my back pose. So I hired a coach. His name is Matt. He works for Team Pro Physiques, and right now I'm in a building phase. So we have another 6 weeks left in this building phase. I'll be posting a video every week of this process. Right now, for me, it's just about maintaining, because we don't have a whole lot of time. My goal is to do another show kind of in maybe June or July. And then there's a national show in Pittsburgh at the end of July. And the goal for me right now is just to try to get as much muscle mass as possible on, especially my glute development, some shoulder development, while keeping my body weight down. And so I've never really been strategic in the off season. Again, when I competed in my 20s, it was I was a totally different person. It was a whole different world. The level of structure I have in my life now is for me, discipline is freedom. I want to know exactly what I'm eating at exactly what time. I want to have it all mapped out because it makes my life throughout the week so much easier. When I'm managing my kids' schedules and also just managing work. So I've never really done it the right way as far as having a good off season. So right now it's just about consistency with, macro intake, staying on top of my protein, training every single day, strength training, lifting heavy, really trying to build as much volume as I can before I actually go into a real prep. And I'll show you guys all that whole process too of what an actual prep looks like. So right now I'm taking in about 1,600 calories a day. I'm at around 115 body weight, and I'm really happy with my progress so far since I've been coaching with Matt. I feel really good about it. There's a twist to this story because when I left the DC show, so I was at the DC show, it was the day after the show, I'm getting breakfast and I run into the wellness winner. She was the overall winner. She's a pro. So that show qualified her to go to the Olympia, and I was just congratulating her while we were, waiting for our omelets to be cooked. And it was her and her husband were there. And I'm like, man, I'm just so, it's just so amazing that you get to compete at the Olympia again. And that's my dream and that's my goal. And I was telling them I was an IFBB Bikini Pro, and they're like, well, why are you competing in the NPC? I'm like, well, I haven't competed in years and years and years. Long story short, they encouraged me to find out if I could still compete as a pro. So I have reached out to the IFBB, and I'm curious to see if I can renew my pro card and just compete as a fit model pro. I haven't competed in a long, long time, but they may let me renew my pro card and compete as a pro. I don't know, we'll see. But if that's not the case, I'll just continue to compete in the NPC, but it would be very cool to be able to, I'm just trying to fast track my way back to the Olympia stage. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to make every single show count. I have to make every second of this count. And, again, every day I question myself on why is this so important to you? Like, why does this even matter at this point in your life? Like, but I have this goal in my mind, and I just want to prove to myself and anyone else that it's never too late at any point in your life to go for something that seems bigger than yourself. And we get so caught up in the day-to-day and just doing what we're supposed to do, and we forget about what lights us up and like makes us feel inspired and inspires others. And for me, that is bodybuilding, that's competing, that's being on stage, that's working every single day diligently towards a goal. And I'm so excited to be on this journey again, and it is important to me. And so I try not to let those thoughts come in and just go with it and say like, this is the path that God put me on at this point in time in my life, and I'm here for it. So anyway, the goal for the next couple of weeks is hopefully I'll hear back from the IFBB whether that's a yes or no. Woo! Stay tuned, because that would be such a freaking game changer. If I could just compete in a pro show, that would be really insane. And then also just sticking with the plan. Every day, sticking with the plan, staying focused, eyes on the prize. So I have this goal in my mind, and I'm going after it, you guys. So come with me on this journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll be posting next week.